Hello there. My name, as you know, is Jason Gensai. If you didn't know, what are you doing here? Go check out this playlist or something. Then you can watch this video. Now that they're gone, thank you so much for watching my videos and commenting on them. I love making these videos for you, and reading/responding to your comments is fantastic. Unfortunately, school and sports are starting this fall, and I won't have time to make videos consistently. However, when school ends, and maybe a little bit before, depending on how much free time I end up with, I will start to make more content for you. I have some amazing plans for this channel, and I cannot wait to reveal them. But the rest of this video is a Q&A. But first, I have a question for you. What are some unique characters that you think I should use in Star Wars duels? Now, time for the Q&A. The first question is from, I really like how the other person has really good lighting in their videos. They say, what setup do you use to get such good lighting in your videos? Well, I actually didn't do the lighting. Most of the lighting in my videos is done by Lucasfilm, because I basically have a slideshow of Star Wars pictures rather than an actual camera, so I don't really do the lighting. I hope that answered your question. The next question is from Joe Dorfler. What are some of your favorite species in the Star Wars universe? I really like wookies. They are strong but kind. The Kagi are also cool. They're extremely skilled and also mysterious. They're basically ninja. And Nautawans are also awesome. They look really cool, and they live in the water, that's cool, and I really like Kit Fisto. But my favorite two species are the Chiss and the Purrgil. The Chiss are extremely methodical. They're excellent tacticians. They live in the unknown regions, which gives them a mysterious nature. They have excellent strategists, including Mithran Neruodo, which is my favorite character at the time. Purrgils are also awesome. They are space whales. They don't have a recognizable language, but the ability to speak does not make you intelligent. It's not proven, but I think Purrgils are sentient. Purrgils can take out entire fleets, but their most significant and interesting ability is the ability to go into hyperspace. They're the only living thing that can go into hyperspace. Josiah Summers asks, are some Wookiees considered short-hair Wookiees? Would people be more allergic to the short or long-hair Wookiees? I don't know if there is a definitive answer in canon, but the hair length of Wookiees is not always the same length. Tarful's hair looks a little bit shorter than Chewbacca's. The hair length varies, so some Wookiees might have short hair, short enough to be like fur, like on a dog, but most Wookiees have about the same length of hair. If someone was allergic to Wookiee hair, they would probably be more allergic to longer hair because there is more of it, but other factors like wind speed and direction, distance between you and the Wookiee, and how much the Wookiee is shedding, if they shed, probably matters more than the length of the hair. This question is also from Josiah Summers. If Gungans had tails instead of legs, would they be considered mermaids or mermen? That would depend on the gender of the Gungan. Boss Nass, Jar Jar, Captain Tarpals, and even Boss Leone would all be mermen, but if a Gungan was female, like Peppy Bo, they would be a mermaid. Great questions, Josiah. This question is from Eli Vanto. After studying the art of Ralph Mcquarrie, what conclusions would you come to about his naval tactics and strategies? Okay, this will take a while. Let me go study for a bit. Very flat background, thin lines. The Empire, which represents order, is tall and pointy. The rebels and the Jedi are small and humble. As the story progresses, he has more focus. Rather than simply drawing an intricate landscape, Mcquarrie draws your attention to a specific character, ship, or other similar focusing point. The natural lines swoop downward, while powerful lines are straight across. Lots of spacious environments, especially vertically. Most very tall ceilings or no ceilings. Okay, the large ships hang back in a long line, leaving space to fire freely at their targets and testing their adversaries' shields. The next step is to launch fighters to cause more devastation and to test the opponent's snub fighter defenses. The fighters will most likely begin an attack run in thin lines from above before spreading out and spiraling up and out of range and forming back together to begin another attack run. Only once he has gotten comfortable with his opponent's strategies and capabilities, Mcquarrie will begin to move his larger ships in to finish off the battle. The larger ships will come in a more flat trajectory than the fighters. I believe Mcquarrie's weakness will be that he spreads his forces too thin and he will be afraid to take his enemies head-on, at least at first. Mcquarrie likes to leave space around him, and he prefers to flesh out his understanding of his enemy before finishing him off. He is too cautious. So a good strategy would be to send one of your larger ships and tougher ships straight towards him from above to cause panic and take his focus away while you eliminate his other ships one by one. This is all very speculative, so you would probably come to different conclusions than me. I would love it if you would attempt to analyze Mcquarrie's artwork and tell me what conclusions you come to in the comments. This next question is from Jason Jensai. I don't really have enough questions for a full video, so I'm going to ask myself a question. If you were hired to write a Star Wars story, what would it be about, and would it be a movie, a show, a game, a book, or something else? And feel free to answer this in the comments yourself. I have two ideas. Number one is a Clone Wars video game or Disney Plus show. In the first story, there would be a generic Jedi training his apprentice during the war. There are so many stories to tell during the war. My story would not be as heroic, and it wouldn't have the same scale as Anakin's story, but it would be more relatable. My second idea is super unique and surprisingly epic. Dexter, a Star Wars story. The story of how Obi-Wan Kenobi became friends with Dex. It could be either a book or a movie, I don't really care. Dexter seems boring. He is a chef at a Coruscanti restaurant. But I am telling the story before then. Obi-Wan asked Dexter for advice about a poison dart. Why would he ask a chef about a poison dart? Maybe if Dex had identified the dart based on the poison that was used, but he identified it based on the dart, not the poison. Dexter is friends with the Jedi, he knows about weapons, and he's a basilisk. His backstory could be extremely interesting. This question is from Jeff Sommers. Why did they skip the story of Emperor Palpatine becoming father and the life of his son? Would someone really marry him when he looked so evil? What is the timing of when Rey's dad was born/died? They probably skipped the story of Palpatine becoming a father because they needed to tell Rey's story first. They wanted to keep the Emperor mysterious and the story would not be interesting. If they packed Emperor Palpatine's story into The Rise of Skywalker, it would be even more rushed than it already is. Palpatine did not marry anyone. His son is actually a non-identical clone. Palpatine's son was not Force-sensitive, and so he was deemed useless by Palpatine, so Palpatine didn't really treat him like a son, and there's no story arc there. Rey was born 15 years after the Battle of Yavin, which means Palpatine's son was probably born before the first Death Star was completed. This question is from Darth Vader. Hello there. What would change if Anakin had left Obi-Wan behind on the invisible hand? Let me think. So, Obi-Wan would not be there. He wouldn't get sent to Utapau. So they would probably send... They might send Mace Windu. Okay, let's go with Mace Windu. So they send Mace Windu to Utapau. Yoda goes to the droid attack and the Wookiees. That leaves... Okay, Anakin goes to Chancellor Palpatine. Palpatine reveals himself as the Sith Lord. Anakin comes back, and he would tell Yoda over the hologram, I think. He might tell, like, Ki-Adi-Mundi or something, but I think Ki-Adi-Mundi and other Jedi Masters like that would probably wait as well. Oh, no, Plo Koon was gone too. Yeah. So he would probably tell Yoda, at which point, Sidious would... He would probably... Sidious would probably set a trap. So, instead of being alone and confronting the Jedi, he would have guards, like, more than normal. And he would warn them that the Jedi were betrayed, but they were blocking his signal or something. He would find some way to make sure they helped him kill the Jedi. Then when Yoda and Windu and all the Jedi Masters show up, Palpatine would still win, all except for, let's go with Mace Windu. Mace Windu and Anakin don't have the best relationship, so I think Sidious would definitely want Windu there as well. So it all happened the same way, except Obi-Wan isn't there after Revenge of the Sith. He doesn't kill Anakin. Anakin would probably kill Sidious probably right at the time the Death Star is completed. No, would it be, I don't know. He would probably keep him around. He wouldn't kill him, just because if he did, he wouldn't have the political power to maintain rule over the Republic, or the Empire, not the Republic. So he would probably just he would probably capture his son a lot easier. Oh wait, no. Okay, Padme would meet with him. She would stay by him, even though she doesn't want him to turn to the dark side. Okay, so then he actually has access to his children. Okay, let's just say the Empire wins. I mean, eventually he just kills Sidious, and there's nothing that they can do. The ability to rebel against the Empire is insignificant next to the power of the Force. Oh my goodness. I thought it would change Revenge of the Sith, but no, it changes the original trilogy, and of course the sequels too, because they don't happen if the original trilogy doesn't happen. Alright, Desmond the Moon Bear asks, what do you think is the worst possible explanation for why Rey is a Skywalker other than she felt like it? Well, if you think about it, there's literally no way to tell for sure how long after the Battle of Exegol the last scene is. Therefore, maybe it's been a few years, and therefore Rey has explored the unknown regions, met a Chiss, and downloaded the ability to guide ships through hyperspace, and therefore a Skywalker. So therefore, it is definitely possible that Rey could be considered a Skywalker by the Chiss. Coincidence? I think not! The last question is from, is this really my name? Who would win in a battle between the 7th Fleet and the Death Star? The 7th Fleet is led by... The 7th Fleet is led by Grand Admiral Thrawn, and was composed of at least 9 Imperial First-Class Star Destroyers, 16 Imperial Second-Class Star Destroyers, 12 Arquitens-class command cruisers, 9 Gazanti-class cruisers, 4 Dreadnought-class heavy cruisers, and 2 Interdictor-class Star Destroyers. Assuming Tarkin has the Death Star, he will have a relentless strategy that focuses on dominating the battle. Tarkin will no doubt start by unleashing the power of the Death Star's super laser on Thrawn's command ship, the Chimera, instilling fear into his enemies, taking a brilliant tactician from his enemies, and causing chaos in the command structure of his enemies. From there, Tarkin will launch TIEs and continue to fire on the Star Destroyers one by one with the Death Star's super laser. His TIEs will be swarming the Star Destroyers on his right, while the Death Star will be taking out the Star Destroyers from his left to his right. Tarkin will rely on his point defense and turbo lasers to defend the Death Star from any TIE fighters that attack. However, Thrawn will have anticipated this strategy and will not be on the Chimera. In fact, the Chimera will exit hyperspace a few minutes after the rest of the fleet to confuse Tarkin. When it does, the Chimera will be preset on a course for the Death Star super laser at full speed with as small crew as possible on board. Thrawn will not even be on a Star Destroyer. He will be on one of the 2 Interdictor cruisers, which Tarkin will only target if he wants to run away. But Tarkin will probably not run because he has faith in the Death Star as the ultimate power in the galaxy, which is why Thrawn is on one of the Interdictors. Obviously, the Death Star is too powerful, and he would just shoot the Chimera pretty quickly. Thrawn's little strategy there doesn't work fully, but Thrawn's TIE Fighters will defend the light cruisers like the Gazantis, Arquitens, and Dreadnoughts, while his Star Destroyers spread out to force the Death Star to rotate more between every shot. And the Star Destroyers will also move closer to limit the range advantages of the Death Star super laser and to use their turbo lasers more effectively. Thrawn's light cruisers will target the super laser dish because it is not likely for Tarkin to waste time shooting at them because Star Destroyers are bigger. Tarkin's downfall will be his bias towards large-scale ships. Instead of targeting an Interdictor or even the light cruisers with the super laser, he will target Star Destroyers, the bigger ships. In Episode 4, Tarkin underestimates the snub fighters of the Rebellion, and he also overestimated the power of the Death Star, because of their size. Fighters are very effective, but they're small, whereas the Death Star was not that effective, but it was very big. The light cruisers will damage the Death Star's super laser, while TIE fighters and TIE defenders take out Tarkin's TIEs. However, Tarkin is not a fool. He will no doubt see the danger and react accordingly, redirecting all of his TIEs towards the light cruisers which are destroying his main weapon. But he will not change the strategy of the Death Star. However, Thrawn will have anticipated this as well, and he will launch boarding parties from his Star Destroyers to take advantage of the lack of TIEs. At this point, the Death Star will be heavily damaged, and Tarkin will realize he must do something unexpected. He will launch into hyperspace but be caught by one of the 2 Interdictor's gravity wells. However, by essentially performing an extreme micro jump while surrounded by Star Destroyers, he will have rammed into several of them and annihilated them. Star Destroyers are massive, but next to the Death Star, they are insignificant. By now, the Death Star is heavily damaged, especially its super laser dish. The Death Star has hundreds of Thrawn stormtroopers inside, creating havoc and taking out all the gunners and blowing up turbo lasers. But one particular group of Death Troopers, accompanied by Rook, was sent to destroy the main reactor. Without the reactor core, the Death Star would rely on backup power generators and would shut off all unnecessary power outputs, probably including the Death Star laser, most turbo lasers, and also less impactful stuff, like the lights. Rook uses his invisibility technology and his team of Death Troopers to place bombs all over the reactor core, escape a few hallways down, and accidentally blow up the entire Death Star, destroying all of the light cruisers, TIE fighters, and everyone on board. The only things that would survive the battle are 2 interdictors, a couple TIE defenders, and a few Star Destroyers, although they would all be heavily damaged. Thanks to Thrawn's brilliant tactical mind and Galen Erso's betrayal, the 7th Fleet would be victorious. So with that, thank you so much for watching this video, and for watching my other videos. I love making these videos and would be honored if you would join me by watching, commenting, and sharing the videos. Whether you watched a few of my videos or if you've seen all of them, thank you. I have spoken, and may the Force be with you always.